You know, franchises and fandoms are funny things. They can be popular and last for many years on end, or be less popular and fizzle out after a year or so, sometimes getting cult status years later. But then, there is the third outcome, where the fandom is generated by people outside of the projected target demographic. One such famous example is the brony fandom for My Little Pony Generation 4, and potentially extending into Generation 5. Here is the history of some of these bronies who decide to create their own take on Rooster Teeth's popular Red vs. Blue series, based on Team Fortress 2, complete with parodies and references galore. But first, allow me to start over by saying this. G'day mates, Jetstorm here, and welcome to the history of Team Fortress 2, Analysis Anarchy, Seasons 1 and 2.
We're gonna have a ball, an 18-pony army made of references.
Now I bet you're all asking, Jet, why are you combining Seasons 1 and 2 together? That is a valid question. The answer is that Season 1 contains 11 episodes, technically 12. 9 and 2 introduce everyone involved, 2 of which I cannot find on YouTube. 1 episode that is a gag episode, sort of. Then we have a story-driven episode to show what's involved, and the season finale, which introduces a new character while setting up the plot for the future. And Season 2 has the first arcs of the series, which I dubbed the Gather the Ponies and Invasion arcs. You'll understand why as we go along. Now, before I continue, I'll state here and now that I'll be skipping gag episodes unless they feature some plot that'll be relevant later, or if I actually like them. And that is only a small couple, maybe one. So let's kick things off with a roll call of the bronies involved from the start, starting with the masterminds behind the series, Dr. Wolf as the engineer, and Firebrand as the medic. Besides them, we have Ink Rose as the scout, Eliora as the pyro, Voice of Reason as the sniper, ANY Pony, or just ANY as the demo pony, Silver Quill as the heavy, Give and Take as the spy, and Phantom Horn as the soldier. We also get Keyframe, who was pranked by ANY before getting back at him, but we'll catch up with her later. Starting off, the first 10 episodes are introductory episodes based on the official Meet the Class series made by Valve. Apart from Give and Take and Phantom Horns ones, the Keyframe prank episode is also based off of Meet the Sniper, because ANY sent her the script as the prank. So, right after the introductory episodes, the next episode we have is the appropriately named Analysis Anarchy, and we're met by a rallying speech by Phantom Horn.
Men, these are the facts as I understand them. 1. I am the prettiest unicorn. 2. My mane is lustrous and fragrant, and catches the wind perfectly. Therefore, I am going to trot into the forest and pick each and every one of you maggots an arrangement of flowers, and they will be lovely. Am I making myself clear?
The interesting thing about Phantom Horn's voice lines, all of the lines he has throughout this episode are word-for-word adaptations of what the soldier says when equipped with the magical melodies cosmetic items during a full moon or on Halloween. Here is the voice line from the soldier.
I don't know, but I've been told I'm a pretty unicorn.
And here's the same line done by Phantom Horn.
I don't know, but I've been told I'm a pretty unicorn.
So, yeah. Considering what happens at the end, I'm not surprised about this happening. I'll explain why when we get there. Just quickly, there's little to no characterization during this episode, so for the most part, I'll only quickly introduce the characters and some of their quirks. An interesting subplot for this episode revolves around Firebrand's infatuation with Ink Rose, and I'm not surprised about this. Apart from being a cute pony, Ink Rose is comparable with Tracer from Overwatch. Both are peppy, willing to get into the fray, and always looking out for their teammates. I guess that's why I kind of like them both as well.
Mr. Firebrand?
Ah, no, I don't think she's cute.
This throughout the episode actually leads to a few comedic moments. And speaking of comedy, we have Silver Quill, the punching bag of the series. Nothing ever goes right for him. Yeah, we see a lot of this going throughout the series. Let's move on to Eliora. She's the typical pyromaniac of the series, despite the fact she doesn't want to be viewed as such. There's a whole episode down the line that focuses on that point. Though admittedly, she does have a temper. At one point during this episode, she takes it all out on Phantom Horn, with Voice of Reason actually providing commentary about this.
That's some shonky business right there. Oh, man, that's gotta hurt. Oh, biting the ear, really? Oh, no, Ellie, don't put Phantom in the oven. Didn't even put any stuffing in it. Oh, wow, either Phantom must be really flexible or... Oh my.
You can interpret this commentary any way you can, and it still won't make sense. Believe me, I've tried. And unfortunately, this is the extent of Voice's characterization for this episode, but you'll have more as the series progresses. Now let's do a complete 180 and talk about AMY, who, like most of the others, doesn't get much characterization. However, he does get a hint of an overarching story which will be referenced in later episodes, along with a few review episodes he does with other bronies.
Oh man, look at Firebrand. He just hasn't the necessary level of Germanness. You got an actual German here, but no, they said. Too cliché, they said.
So, AMY desires to be the medic, just because he and the base medic are both German. Yeah, I can see why they didn't do this to start off with. Moving on from him, let's briefly talk about Dr. Wolf, who is the leader and father figure of the group, along with being a therapist for the entire community. He'll get his own plot that will culminate with a reveal at the end of Season 6, but we're getting ahead right now.
Is this really the best time to get into a stupor every time ink runs past? Either we need to focus on the fight at hand, or I need to help you get a better handle on your feelings. Which is it going to be, Mr. Firebrand?
Finally, let's gloss over Gibbon taking Phantom Horn, and, well, there's not much to say. Gibbon speaks and acts like the base spy, and Phantom Horn, which I mentioned earlier, uses the soldiers' voice lines and acts like the base soldier, so... yeah.
Was that supposed to be an Australian accent?
The episode overall is basically a round of the man vs. machine game mode of TF2, full of amusing points including Ink Rose trying and failing to take on a metal giant, and Eliora deflecting Phantom Horn's rocket into Silverquill and sending him flying into Give and Take. And in the end, the ponies are victorious. Firebrand goes to ask Ink Rose out, then this happens.
It's good to be healthy.
I am the prettiest unicorn!
Soldier's dead!
I never liked him anyway.
Next.
So yeah, Phantom Horn is killed off. I don't know what the behind the scenes reasons are, but I might have a theory. I'm guessing that Doc and Firebrand couldn't find anyone at the time of recording to be the permanent soldier, so they asked Phantom Horn to record the lines for the episode to fill in the unused slot. Like I said, it's only my theory, but it kind of makes sense, sorta. So with one team member gone, what happens next? Why, Doc and Firebrand seek out a replacement. The applicants are Filmspark, who was denied because Firebrand hated his main, Golden Fox, sort of, but he reconsiders, Keyframe, but she's dragged off by Golden for being intoxicated. Next are two quote-unquote clones of Silverquill, whom I dub Dapper Quill and Soldier Quill. You can tell why instantly. Mad Munchkin also shows up, upset at her quote-unquote roommate, an Alec C named Mary Sue for obvious reasons. Now, there are three things she hates: hugs, jokes or assumptions about her in regards to her being Scottish, and her hat being damaged or dirty, as we see here.
Oh, snap.
Great idea!
Yep, Mad Munchkin, or Maddie to her friends, goes into a blind fury, attacking everyone in sight, including Vector Brony, who only just arrived, and she's hired on immediately, not just because of the fury she displayed, but also having an innate ability not to attack Doc or Firebrand in the process. So Maddie joins up, and the red team is back at full strength. Then we get this quick little comedy moment.
Hey guys, what do you do? Okay, right. See you tomorrow. Walking away very fast.
So, here we are, at the start of the second season, and the start of the Gather the Ponies arc, starting with the episode, A New Challenge. ANY consults with Dr. Wolf about better team practice sessions, with Doc asking ANY his thoughts about getting blue team members to practice with. ANY, of course, thinking about grabbing the medic spot.
A second team. Wait, this also means a second medic, right? Whee! Yes, that's my chance. Sounds like a great idea.
But it turns out that Dr. Wolf already has a blue medic, and it's Keyframe.
Guten Tag, ANY.
Oh, mangled manticore mane.
Yes, Keyframe is back, permanently this time. A bit about this, AY gets in one final joke about not knowing her, only to reveal that he did know her when she was working as a waitress in the Rift Cafe, and he admits that he's a troll. I bet those who haven't seen any of his videos or even follow his channel didn't know about this until now, like I did when I first watched this episode. One quick thing about Keyframe before we move on, she's the tallest pony OC in the fandom, but she hates tall jokes directed at her, many that we'll hear later. Next episode up is You Gave Who a Rocket Launcher, and I'll be honest, the OC they introduce here is a touchy subject, but if I fail to mention it, I might get people in the comments section asking why I skipped it and asking who they are if they see him in the background. On the other hand, because of what happened, which I will cover when it becomes relevant, I'm unsure if they're a taboo subject within the brony community or not, so I'll only mention him if he's relevant to the plot. I'm of course talking about this guy, Toon Critic YTK, or just Toon. Before I continue, I have a confession. When I first watched this series, I started around season 4 or 5, and I didn't see Toon anywhere, so I was confused when he arrived here, but after some digging, I found out why. At first I thought he was going to be the same as everyone else, but no. After watching season 2 and season 3, which I had to in order to make notes about this series and write a script for these videos, that the more I watched Toon, the more I realised that, from the start, he isn't a very likeable character. I don't know if he was written like that or not. If he wasn't, then it makes me dislike him even more. If he was, then it was written a bit too well. But speaking of whom, as I mentioned, I don't like him very much. He goes around acting all entitled, caring only for drinking milkshakes and one-upping Maddie. He, spoilers for later episodes, constantly teases Lightning Bliss. Admittedly, Silver does the same, but later admits that he only does that to show affection. But this guy doesn't seem to have any rhyme nor reason why he does it, outside of pure malice. He is also fairly lazy when it comes to certain things. You can all correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, but I will stand by what I'm saying about him right now. But considering how he acts and behaves and what he eventually does, there are things I would do to him because of my experiences with people like him. But because I wish to get into the Rift Cafe eventually, I'm sure that making threats like this would be frowned upon, so I'll allow Linkara-senpai to vent for me.
I would strangle it, burn the body, and proudly declare to the world that I had done it, and no jury would convict me.
Taking another cue from Linkara, whenever Toon says something that sounds condescending or similar, or even does something as such, I'll add a quick clip, but no spoilers. So, back to the episode. Toon rocks up and decides to be the Blue Soldier. Doc questions if he spoke to Eliora, his girlfriend at the time, about doing this. He says he did, but he didn't. However, Doc notices a flaw within his recruiting practices almost right away during the practice trials. Toon is terrible at wielding the black box, which is the rocket launcher he chose. I compare him with Church from Red vs. Blue, but unlike Church, Toon actually improves, but only when the plot demands it. Now let's quickly move away from this episode and on to the next episode. There can only be one. Starting off, I have no idea why they called this episode by that. I have a few thoughts. But anyway, Sweetie Bloom or just Sweetie... I'm gonna say it. Calling her Sweetie is a bit disconcerting. I normally associate the term sweetie to a girl/girlfriend whom I'd be close to or a fair way into a relationship with. And I'm currently single due to my trust issues from past relationships. I do not want to get into that right now because it goes off topic. Anyway, she comes in and asks to join up. So Doc asks Sweetie if she knows anything about the combat involved.
1 second. I am now proficient in gaming combat.
Well, that was quick. It took me half an hour alone to get proficient with classes I don't normally play on TF2. There were some moments where I changed my class to the medic because we didn't have one. But anyway, Doc asks Sweetie if she's able to be the scout, the spy, or the engineer. Oddly enough, not asking about the sniper, pyro, or heavy. Then Firebrand comes in to complain about what just happened outside.
Hi, I was just dissecting a hippogriff, don't have a license, takes me a while, and suddenly a pony comes careening through the wall from an explosion and I accidentally cut off a limb. What's up?
At this point, Sweetie reveals that she has the Einlander sword, a melee weapon that the demo pony can equip, so Doc makes her the demo mare. And we get one more humorous scene before the episode ends.
You're actually a trained soldier. How do you keep getting beaten like this?
I refuse to fight women. They're soft.
Didn't you once stab Eleora? Repeatedly?
Hey, she was already dead. That doesn't count.
Dead?
She got better.
But aside from that being impossible, you make it sound like pain and death don't have consequences.
This is TF2. They really don't.
Reattach this. Now.
Eye on the target opens with Keyframe happily doing her own thing when Golden Fox appears, and he questions why she's there and tries to get her to leave because of the danger. But she refuses and warns him of the danger because he isn't part of a team, so he goes to see Doc, and he still isn't too happy.
Save it, Doc. How could you let Key join this group?
Hello to you as well. Keyframe had shown a lot of interest in joining the project since its conception, and I felt that, mixed with her experience in the game, she'd be a good fit for the blue team.
How so? It's a war zone out there, literally. You're willing to let her out there and nearly get herself killed?
My apologies, Golden, but she made this choice of her own volition.
But Golden Fox, being Keyframe's boyfriend, decides to join up to protect her, becoming the Heavy in the process. However, the main drawback with being the Heavy becomes apparent immediately. The minigun required for it is too heavy for Golden to carry, so after some drama consisting of Golden being a pain magnet, he goes back to Doc in order to change his class. Now, Golden is able to protect Keyframe as the sniper, albeit a bit further away than he wanted. And as a bonus, he takes a shot in AMY when he starts flirting with her. Now we come to the episode Suited for Subtlety, where I love Kim Possible a lot. Yes, that is her name. Or just KP comes in and joins up, wanting to become the classes that are already occupied and refusing all of them. Firebrand starts using metaphors for coming in early and gets instant karma, but she ends up taking the scout position, and we see she is a bit too eager. And what I mean is, well, Ink Rose tries to teach her how to be the scout, but KP runs off before Ink is finished talking each time, with predictable results.
Wait, what's going on? Why can't I? Ugh.
So Ink decides to speak to Doc about it, and he thinks that there might be some results if she trained under a spy to be a bit more stealthy. But the Blues don't have a spy yet. Oh, wait, I completely forgot about Give and Take. Last time we saw him was 5 episodes ago, and it's the last time he'll have a speaking role. But anyway, it's revealed that KP is best when she provides a distraction for her teammates to take out any of the Reds. Next episode is The Cuter They Are, and by that title you can tell that Lightning Bliss will be involved, and it's proven when she appears from a rainbow and crashes, so we can instantly see that... You know what, I'm going to stop there. Like Mad Munchkin, Lightning Bliss, or Blissy, hates a couple of things, so it's very hard to describe her without offending her. She hates being called cute or small, which are two of the things that do describe her. I'm only saying this in passing, so when my OC is ready, Bliss will not come around and try to kill me. Anyway, she goes up to Mad Munchkin to ask where Doc is.
Oh, look at the little alicorn. Aren't you cute? Where's your tiara?
Hi, Maddie. Nice to see you too.
As you can see, she does have a tolerance level when it comes to this, but now she comes across worse character.
Oh, Celestia, it's an alicorn OC killed with oh, wait, never mind. It's just little Bliss. Asshole. No, that's too cute. You're actually going to try out. What are you gonna do? Shoot them with rainbows?
Asshole. Then she does the sensible thing and flies off, inadvertently going to where Voice is set up and accidentally painting his jar of Girate. And that's another thing she hates. Others using her tail as a paintbrush, but that is not as done as often as the short and cute hazing she gets. She then moves on again and encounters Keyframe, who actually respects her and knows what it's like.
Trust me, I getcha. They never take anything seriously here. It's always, how's the weather up there, Keyframe? You're only gonna hail birds with your minigun, Keyframe. Can I hide in your lab coat, Keyframe? Can your horn get radio signals, Keyframe? Miss Keyframe, for the last time, you can't use a bloody bone saw to make sandwiches. Ho 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 ho. But they'll see, Lightning. Oh, they'll see. They'll see what Keyframe can do!
But at least she's nice enough to point Bliss in the right direction towards Doc's office, and she has a fair bit to vent about.
Doc, I came all the way out here to talk to you about the editing portions of this project.
No breaking the fourth wall, please.
Oh, sorry, right. Anyways, soon as I get here, I am met with cuteness over cuteness comments. Not once has anybody here taken me seriously. I just don't get it. I can be very determined if not a serious pony.
At least Doc knows how Lightning Bliss feels. But before he could say or do anything, Silver Quill comes in and pushes Lightning Bliss over the edge, causing her to do this.
Call me cute! I dare you. Call me cute. One more time.
Wait, is that a dare or a request? I need to be sure because her choice is kind of important right now.
So Bliss is able to lift the minigun that Golden Fox was having trouble with previously, making her the blue team heavy. And it looks like Golden Fox isn't too happy with this fact.
Oh, you've gotta be kidding.
The next episode is Stop Helping Me, and we see Doc Chang with the friendliest pony of the community, Finn the pony, or just Finn, and we see that he's applying as the blue team manservant? I'm sorry, what?
I suppose because you're the only applicant, maybe you should be the one to get the...
Thank you so much, Dr. Wolf. I promise to be as civil and on the ball as possible. I'll fulfill my team's needs faster than you could say thanks, Pally. You'll see.
So glad to see that he's enthusiastic about his new role, but it seems he's a bit too eager, and he interferes with the blue team, causing them to be killed. He gets Sweetie killed by Silver Quill by taking the whiskey bottle she was about to use on him. He prevents Keyframe from hailing KP by applying proper first aid, thus making Keyframe an easy target for give and take, along with making KP into an immobile mummy, giving Voice the opportunity to smash his Girati jar onto her. They go to Doc and complain, and we hear the worst complaint from the worst of characters.
He burnt my shake! What? Don't act like you guys never wanted to be served food in the battlefield. Asshole.
It's then revealed that the manservant position was meant to be a joke, and the whole blue team realizes that they were the butt of it. So Doc decides to give Finn a new position on the blue team, as the engineer.
Dispenser going up.
Oh, thanks, Finn. Thought I was a goner there for sure.
This episode concludes with Blissy, assumingly making herself an easy target for Voice and Firebrand, but in a twist, it turns out that she was a distraction.
Don't worry.
This will just hurt a lot.
Clever girl.
Clever girl.
With the next episode, we get to the end of the Gather the Ponies arc of the season, with the following being the setup for the Invasion arc, but we'll get to that in a moment. Let's get through this episode called To Be or Not To Be, which, with a name like that, must involve the spy class in some way since they have to act as others. Wait, are we getting an episode focused around give and take and a new character to become the spy?
Hey, Doc. What's that?
It's Gibbon's resignation form.
What was that, huh?
Oh. Okay then, so Gibbon's leaving? But why would he be leaving?
It says right here, left to become a pirate.
Being a pirate is your right to be. Do what you want, cause a pirate is free. You are a pirate.
Aha. Okay then. So the red team is down a spy, but it's not like he did too much to begin with. And before most of you start roasting me, think about it. He got the least amount of lines in Analysis Anarchy, had a small mental role in Sewer Facility, and had a small cameo in Stop Helping Me. But either way, Doc realizes that if they get a new member for the blue team, then both sides would have equal numbers. But Firebrand points out another problem that Keyframe is having.
Well, Keyframe's been complaining about certain members being...
Aw, yeah, come at me, broski. Show me what you can. Oh, medic.
Hey, you big brutes! Run, run, run as fast as you can! You can't catch me! I'm the... seriously burned Girl Scout cookie. Medic!
Talk? Ow, son of a... Medic!
burdensome.
I think that's just putting it mildly. That's when Keyframe comes in, looking exhausted, and collapses. Doc suggests getting someone of subtlety, and right on cue, the Wilstonator, better known here as Thespio, comes in, looking to sign up, then sees Keyframe.
Keyframe, why do you look like you're ready for Betty Bye?
Oh, hey, Daddy. Will you read me the story about how Angel got his devil horns?
After a bit of back and forth, Thespio demonstrates his imitation skills by imitating the demo pony.
If I were a bad demo man, I wouldn't be standing here discussing it with you. Now would I, you piece of crepe?
The scout.
Hey, pop quiz. How long does it take to beat a moron to death? Plunk!
And the sniper.
Is a touching story, mate. Once upon a time you died, and I lived happily ever after. The end.
Doing a fairly good job at it, but Firebrand decides to burn him. I did not mean to make that pun, Firebrand. Please put the M16 away and allow me to finish this video first. That's when Keyframe pulls Doc aside to try and convince him that having Thespio would be beneficial. Otherwise...
If you don't stroke his ego, he will force you to stroke it. In very unpleasant ways.
And we find out in what ways instantly, with Thespio dangling Firebrand over a lava pit filled with sharks. But this fact isn't the reason why Firebrand is complaining.
Okay, you know, that would be slightly threatening if you weren't cutting the rope at the frickin' carnivor's kunai? You do know that's the worst spy knife, right? And since you clearly lack the finesse to face that, that makes you completely useless.
Full marks for creativity. Well done.
Great save there, Doc. Although from vids I've seen around of Thespio, mainly collabs, he isn't really as... I'm gonna say full of himself, because I don't know what else to put, as Keyframe was describing. In fact, he's fairly pleasant, but that's only my interpretation. You can disagree otherwise. Anyway, noting on his acting skills, Doc decides to hire him as the blue spy, and right away we see him doing a great job, tricking Ink Rose into lowering her guard by imitating Firebrand.
Hey, Ink! After the next wave is done, you want to go get ourselves some ice cream and talk about Celestia's fillyhood? Mine treat!
Aw, that's so sweet of you, Fire... Wait, when did you adopt a German accent?
Peekaboo!
Ah!
Nothing personal. I just had to shut you and your head cannons up.
Then, by preventing Eleora from burning him up by imitating one of her MLP crushes, Big Macintosh, even though Voice tries to warn her about this.
Hey, Frenchie, I'm feeling hungry for some spy flambe, so you better...
You wouldn't hurt me, would you, my little apple dumpling?
Ellie, the Big Mac is a spy!
Horsebando a what?
Surprise, dumbbell!
Next, he tries to confuse Finn. For some reason, they're on the same team. But anyway, he tries to imitate Doc, but Finn sees through this instantly. He then offers Thespio some advice.
You see, being a spy is all about stealth and deceitfulness. You have to be sure to play your enemies into your hands, because even the slightest wrong move could result in your demise. Especially if you're using high-skilled weapons like the Return of the Warp.
This won't be the only time Finn sees through a disguise. We'll see this next season. But we then cut to Thespio going on a murderous rampage before he's blasted away by Golden Fox and is sent flying up onto a roof where Doc, Firebrand, and ANY are watching. The episode ends with Keyframe giving Doc a warning when he asks about Thespio being on the blue team was a good idea.
Better to have the devil be your ally than be in his path.
Wise words to live by, Keyframe. Anyway, the next episode... Sorry about that. But yes, anyway, a new challenger approaches, opens with a mysterious figure watching a new challenge. I see what they did there.
Miss Pauling, get me the Australian.
And who is this Australian he's calling? Well, it's the fan favourite, Dusty Cat, the manliest brony. The reason why he's a fan favourite is that, even though he doesn't appear much, fans often ask for his whereabouts constantly in the chat or comments of the episodes from Season 3 onwards.
This is a matter of honour and profit.
Ooh, my kind of buzzwords.
After accepting the job by this mysterious figure, Dusty is gifted with the Alicorn Amulet, which somehow turns him into the TF2 canon character Saxton Hale. This leads us into the invasion arc, consisting of the four-parter Seven Nation Army, which starts off with Firebrand firmly telling AMY why he is the medic.
Ugh, we've been over this. I'm the medic. I get first pick because I started this team. Why is that so hard to understand?
Look, my Germanness is the one thing I've got that no one else has. And the way you play the medic is a disgrace. I haven't seen you heal one pony since we started this team.
Oh, really, ANY? You want to talk about an absolute disgrace? Every time I hear you using a Scottish accent, it's like hearing horseshoes scraping against a chalkboard. I'm the one who should be the demo pony on this team.
You know what? I don't give a flying feather about your accents. At least you didn't get Anthony C as anything. I mean, you guys screwing up your accents is funny. I don't ever want to hear an Australian trying to do an American accent ever again.
Well, what about an American trying to do an Aussie accent?
Admittedly, that accent wasn't too bad, but Voice and Thespio do it a bit better. This is when Dusty reveals himself to the trio and gets to work, showing off his vast strength.
Kill him!
Falcon!
At least they have the right idea of fleeing rather than attacking him head-on after that display. They run past Ellie and Toon attempts to attack Dusty, with predictable results.
Oh boy.
Everyone then retreats to Doc's office to have a council of war, while Voice and Golden Fox try to delay him, but are as successful as Toon was. Otherwise, they resolve to have Bliss take on Dusty, on the logic that an Alicorn can match the Alicorn Amulet. I won't go into how that would work. Maybe ask Sawtooth Waves. He is more savvy with these sorts of things than I am. Anyway, Bliss heads out to deal with Dusty. But...
Hello, darling.
Scares me!
Aw, poor Bliss. It's not hard to feel sorry for her. Most tough guy-looking people are usually intimidating in the eyes of children and sensitive people, so I feel for her. But not to worry, Finn has a solution for this.
Hey, all I know is that Blissy was crying, I gave her a hug, I made her some tea, and I didn't want you guys to feel left out. So grab them while they're cold. Or hot. Or whatever temperature this should be.
Right after this, Keyframe brings up the fact that Dusty is alone, while there are 16 of them. going for the quantity over quality approach there. And then they charge out to attack, with Doc remaining behind on his own volition to come up with a better plan. We then see our 15 would-be warriors going out to confront the lone Dusty. However... Yes, the robots are back, in personified form this time, and I admit, the stock forms they used for the first episode were out of place, but these are a massive step up. But seeing the approaching metal army, the ponies retreat again, barricading themselves in Doc's office. Then Ink reminds them of the respawn generator. Huh. Instead of leaving it as an unexplained game logic, they're giving the method of respawn an explanation. Shame that this is the first time we hear of it in the series. However, Ink just jinxed them.
You mean this respawn generator?
Yeah, that's it, don't you see? That's everybody done!
Yep, the ponies are unfortunately mortal now. Meaning that if they die here, it's permanent. So Firebrand questions Doc about the plan that he's come up with.
There is little time, Firebrand. Just focus your efforts on keeping everyone alive. Rally their spirits. Keep the robots from overwhelming this position, and above all, slow Dusty down as much as possible.
So basically, Doc's plan is a diversion tactic while he leaves them, for some reason. But Firebrand asks what would happen if something happens to go wrong.
Leave behind the heavy equipment and save as many as you can.
Doc, what's with the huge shift in tone here?
Lead them on, Firebrand. You're the only one who can now.
Wow. That sounded very morbid. It sounds like this plan is all or nothing, with none of them going home should something happen to go wrong. So Doc leaves, and Firebrand goes back, and devises a new plan, revolving around that.
Anyways, he entrusted me with holding the fort while he executes the plan.
However, none of them have any notion to follow Firebrand, citing his lack of doing anything for either team, and this leads to his boiling point.
I don't have a clue what he's doing, but Dr. Wolf entrusted this job to me. I'm not entirely sure if he was in his right mind at the time, but by every PG euphemism I can think of right now, I'll see the job through or die trying. Is that understood, maggots?
Whoa, wasn't expecting that. But that is just a tiny glimpse, and a new saga starting next season. But anyway, Firebrand lays down the law and starts going over his plan.
Ink and KP, you need to bonk and move behind the robot lines to distract Dusty. Dangle a donut in front of him, I don't care. Just keep him from getting here by any means necessary. Snipers, your targets are the ones targeting me or Keyframe. Your objective is to keep us alive. We're prime targets, being that we're keeping everyone else from dying. Demos, you're mid-range. You do the most burst damage, and if anything gets close enough to you, use your swords whenever you can for the speed and health. Soldiers, you're long range. You do precise area damage at a distance. I need you guys to bottleneck the groups before they get close. Heavies, you're keeping the perimeter. Any bot that tries to break off, turn him back or turn him to scrap.
Oh, hey, I understood that reference.
LER, we need to keep you from frontline fighting as much as possible, as we can't afford to put the medics in too much danger. Check for spy bots and support everyone with air blasting as much as you can. Vespio, I need you to target the Giants. We won't have our scouts with us, so that falls under you to slow them down.
During this plan explanation, we have this adorable scene. I'm using adorable because I know that Bliss hates the word cute and any other word that relates to the small size area. And I'm not too sure about this, so Bliss, if you're watching, don't hate me.
And Silver, Bliss may be a heavy, but she's not as durable as you are. Try to absorb as many bullets as possible.
Urge to hate rising.
Oh, my hero!
Fading.
Hi-ho, Silver! Away!
Okay, don't put...
Then Firebrand lays out Finn's duties, but doesn't fully need to.
Finn, I need you to...
Way ahead of you, sir. Dispenser and sentry set up at the choke point, ready to hold the line. actually change a plan. It looks like the dock requires my gear elsewhere.
Well, that complicates matters. But Firebrand adapts to the change and they burst out and start attacking in the most epic scene of the series so far.
And I thought this was going to be boring.
We soon cut to Voice and Golden Fox having a kill count duel, starting the rivalry they'll have up to Season 6.
And that makes 25.
What the? You only fired one shot!
Explosive headshots, mate. You really need to play this game more. It might actually be useful.
Elsewhere, both KP and Ink are about to attack Dusty, but he knows that they were there and causes them to accidentally collide with each other. And they have a fair bit to say to each other.
KP? It's not my fault he moved quickly. Get off. We don't need people saying things.
Oh, you had to make it awkward, didn't you? Typical.
Hey, what's that supposed to mean?
No one thinks of these things until you mention them. Why do you always do that?
What? It's fun.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. You blunder through everything and no one calls you out for it.
Am I being ignored?
Yes. Yes, you are. But we'll catch up with them later. Elsewhere, Ellie, Thespio, and Toon are dealing with robots either in the access tunnel or in one of the buildings. I cannot really tell.
I don't know how, but I feel like someone just got burned and I didn't get to cause it.
But we find out that something is really burning, with Toon running over to an oven, of all things, to get his shake out. Wait. What? Wow. He puts his shakes into the oven? Seriously?
Ellie, put that down! Need I remind you we don't have the respawn generator?
Shame that Thespio stopped her. I would have done this instead.
Give him the axe, give him the axe, give him the axe, the axe, right in the neck, right in the neck, right in the neck, the neck. Oh!
But it's a reveal that Toon's shake is fine. Somehow. But then again, Vanilla Caramel Supremo Deluxe Delight does sound rather appealing, but I prefer plain chocolate.
Toon?
Are you kidding me? These cursed automatons cost me my beloved shake. A shake I didn't even really want at first till this became a running gag. But you know what? I actually want it now! You know how hard it is being me, a red and black OC who can't even get a fudging milkshake after a hard day's work? Well, guess what, amigos?
You're going straight to the scrapyard.
Well, this is happening.
Seriously? Going into a blind rage at the drop of a hat? Who does that?
Don't comment, don't comment, don't comment, don't comment, don't comment, don't comment.
Yeah, you're one to talk, Maddie. But at least you don't go out of your way in the middle of a battlefield to make sure your hat is okay, potentially putting it into the line of fire, unlike Toon and his milkshakes.
1 little 2 little 3 little ends up, 4 little 5 little 6 little ends up, 7 little 8 little 9 little ends up, and we...
Boy, sweetie.
Sweetie, what's with that green glow? But anyway, wonder what's on Silver's mind.
So, I've been pondering my next moment with Dr. Wolf, and I thought abandonment issues might be a nice topic.
What? Why would you even want to talk about that?
No reason. Just thought I might engineer a conversation.
Is that supposed to be subtle? Because with you, it's really hard to tell.
About as subtle as taking the only other guy who builds guns bigger than himself and scooting off to parts unknown.
Hey, come on! Doc and them will be back, Silver. You'll see. They will be back. They got to.
Real smooth there, Featherbrain. Real smooth. But then, as if by karma, His minigun runs out of ammo, so he gets Firebrand to head back to Doc's office to find more ammo, but he finds something much better. What Doc's plan actually is. Turns out, he and Finn had left the town in order to set up a rally point so that they can assault the robot's command ATV, so Firebrand calls for all of them to fall back to the office. But a few things happen. Like this.
Nobody twitch a servo. I'm armed with weaponized cuteness and a history of poor choices.
You seriously think this is gonna work?
Beep boop, son. Beep boop.
Yep. Even though Bliss is ticked off at this fact, it does work perfectly. We then check up on the Rage Demon while Thespio drags him away from the fight, only to get knocked in the head by Sweetie, whose glowing eye is blinding her, returning him to his senses. I don't see any difference.
Why did I even want that milkshake anyway?
After some craziness involving Thespio and one of the spy bots, with Toon and Ellie trying to figure out who was who, we cut back to Doc's office where Maddie is questioning Keyframe about the teleporters.
Well, from what I remember Finn telling me, it uses a photo multiplier to generate a digital blueprint of your molecular and submolecular organization before deconstructing your collective mass down to a subatomic level of atometers, and sending the blueprints to the destination where the blueprints reform as subatomic particles by utilizing the resources of a built-in conversion unit.
In layman's terms, please?
It disintegrates you and reassembles you on the other side.
Well, that makes a bit more sense. Thanks.
But if I end up like Mike TV, I'm going to shoot something. Size be darned!
And now I'm seeing images of Maddie as one of the playable characters of Grounded. Great game, by the way. Anyone else picturing anything similar? Just me? Yeah, I'm kinda weird.
I'm surprised Dusty still isn't here. Ink and KP must be doing a really good job keeping him busy.
Maybe, Keyframe. Let's go check up on them quickly.
Yeah, well, at least my appearance looks better as a scout.
Yeah, well, at least I don't have to buy my name color to make that work.
Huh. They're still going at it. Wow. They either must be putting on a really good act, or they really do have issues with each other.
Great job, KP. Those were some great fake insults you came up with.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with that.
Okay. Sure. Anyway, we cut to Finn greeting everyone at the rendezvous point as they get ready to attack the robot command ATV, with Golden Fox trying to even up the score between him and Voice. But then this happens.
No, wait, I had a perfect...
You're like a car crash in slow motion. It's like I'm watching you fly through... No.
Okay. Well, I guess that Golden has extreme good luck when not aiming, resulting in the destruction of the ATV. Back in Coaltown, Dusty manages to break into Doc's office and realizing that he's been played.
Oh, no. No, you didn't. Oh, but we did. Played you like a fiddle and cut the strings. Too bad we did, because I'm feeling like playing the world's saddest song. What you gonna do about it, Sasquatch? Huh? Come at me, bro.
Wow, Firebrand. Did not know you had a death wish. And just when the dust settles, it picks up again as Dusty suddenly arrives. Thespio tries to attack him from behind, but...
Noogie. Help! I'm being assaulted by Amity!
I cannot believe I fell for the Under's Gambit. Classic.
Well. Looks like Dusty is a nice guy when needed to be. But he mentioned that he'll stick around for a while before leaving, ending the episode.
Well, hold on a second. How exactly did you get all those robots?
I don't know. They want mine. They were just there.
What? So Dusty wasn't responsible for the robots? Okay.
So, if he didn't send those robots, who did?
Great question then, Doc. And we instantly find out who was responsible. It was the mysterious stallion we saw earlier, revealed to be Anthony C., who meets with a new enemy, Lily Orchard.
I see you were planning to betray me later. I was planning to betray you later, so I suppose that's fair. I agree to these terms. Before I take my leave, anything else you need from me?
A glass of water, if you please.
I bet most of you are confused with the voice. Well, you see, Lily is one of the few silent OCs in the fandom. Characters who don't record their voices for one reason or another. Another example is Mrs. Wolf, Doc's wife, who, from what I understand, is very shy. So I understand that, thus the need to dub her voice. But don't get used to seeing Lily Orchard after this appearance. She and Josh Scorcher, aka Firebrand, had a conflict, so she was let go. I don't know what the conflict was about, and I don't want to know, and I doubt that Josh is willing to share. Anyway, there are 2 additional episodes before the season officially ends: Keyframe's Guide to Sentry Busting and Royal Rumble. Both are gag episodes, so I won't go into detail. But basically, Keyframe shows off her sentry busting skills by, of all things, twerking them into submission, and a 3-way battle between Firebrand, Toon, and Bliss devolves into a rock-paper-scissors match with, of all OCs, Doc winning, and that is the end of Season 2. I'll admit, this season isn't perfect, but it does have its good points. The characters are quite appealing, sans Toon, but I've already harped on him for now, but it's good for people who are fans of these characters. Speaking of, when I started watching, I only knew of Silverquill, Mad Munchkin, and Dr. Wolf. As such, this series can be enjoyed by people who only watch one of the OC's channels, and might find another who enjoy watching. With me, it was Firebrand and Lightning Bliss who I started watching because of this series. But what about you guys? Do you watch any of these OCs? If so, name your favourite in the comments, and be sure to comment on how this vid, the first of this series and of this channel, did, and be sure to like and subscribe for future content. That being said, until next time, this is Jitstorm signing off, and telling you all to stay true blue.